In the Cabbage.
Well, let's get it.
Test, test, test.
Yeah, we're live.
Welcome to In the Cabbage. This is crazy.
This is pretty bananas right now that we're actually doing this.
I'm Tommy Swain, Andrew Witt. Please subscribe, please listen, please download, like. And just a reminder, keep swinging. Ayo! Welcome back to In the Cabbage. I'm your boy, T-Swizzle, Tommy Swam. To my right or your left, Andrew Witt.
Yeah, I'm here, boys. What's up?
Barely here. You know what I mean? barely here for you.
Barely.
Living through all of it.
Gimping through. I mean, we made it, though. It was a little bit of a struggle, but here we are back live again, and boy, does it feel great to be home after a weekend like that.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the Ryder Cup we just came back from. And it took me, we were supposed to record a little inside baseball the day, 2 days after we got back from the Ryder Cup, late Saturday night. We were supposed to record Monday.
Yeah. Well, we got back Sunday night, late.
We did get back Sunday night.
Yeah.
Right? You were right.
We got back at Sunday night, like 9. I dropped you off.
I should tell you where the state I am in. Those days don't even, they're
I
blending
don't
together.
even think you were coherent because you were like, oh, there's no chance I'm recording on Monday. I'm okay, Tuesday for sure. Tuesday for sure. I can definitely skip a day. And then you were still out of commission. Barely got a text from you on Tuesday at all.
Yeah, still trying to recover. Hey, are we recording today? I definitely don't have the energy to do that. Started finally feeling better about, 5 o'clock today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, does it hurt to be 30, right?
Yeah, I was out of it, man. Completely out of it. But it was a great trip. We're going to get into that definitely more later in the podcast. But how was your day, buddy? How was your week? Or the start of the week, I guess?
Yeah, it's all good. Definitely a little bit of a slower start. Rough going through a little bit of what I was battling on Sunday. We can bring that up a little bit later in the podcast. But, a little bit of a personal injury. I had to take a little work from home day on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday's already work from home day, thank God.
Yeah.
But like a Tuesday, just a quick work from home day. Just knocking out some work. But other than that, dude, just cooking a little bit, hanging out, trying to get back on track and getting into the rhythm a little bit. What about you? You got some pretty exciting news, actually.
Exciting news that happened to me is I finally paid off my hospital bills.
There we go. Yeah, what is going on with that? Because you hit me with that like right before we sat down here, and we're like, hold on, I'm going to get into it in a minute here. But what's up with that?
So I'm definitely in the cabbage with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 years ago, I went to the hospital, which I never do.
And you're just paying that thing off?
Right.
What is happening?
So 2 years ago, I went to the hospital for chest pains. I'm in the hospital, right? And when you say you have
this is because of COVID, right? Yeah, because
COVID.
you got COVID. This is the whole like vaccine situation.
Yeah, if you want to get into it, I got the Moderna.
Just give a little bit of a backstory.
I'm a Moderna mama. I got a couple Moderna shots. The second one,
I think I'm a Moderna as well.
Yeah, I got the
shit kicked my ass.
I didn't really get sick, which is crazy. Physically sick, but the second one gave me chest pains.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
And
that's like part of the side effects that are going on too.
Right. So
it's like the list of them.
I don't know what happened.
Other things.
Yeah. Who knows what's going on with that? But yeah, I was having chest pains, and of course I'm not used to that. Went to the hospital the next morning after fighting through it, and everyone was freaking out. I called the hospital. I'm like, hey, should I come in? I'm having chest pains. And they're like, you probably should come in if you're having chest pains. How old are you, sir? I'm like 28 or something.
Right.
They're like, come in. And I was like, I'll sleep it off.
Right.
Right.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And then you like basically woke up or like couldn't sleep, right?
Couldn't sleep because it was hurting. And then I woke up, went to the hospital, went to the doctor. Doctor immediately sent me to the hospital. So then we got to the hospital.
Like the ER, basically?
Mm-hmm.
It
immediately. It was like, my wife went with me, of course, which is like great, but at the same time, awful because now whatever this doctor says I'm going to have to do instead of me just like bullshitting it.
Doing it on your own terms.
Right.
I mean, if we're talking about your chest pain, Ian, that's something that you should definitely get looked at. Probably go by the books and what the doctor says.
Right.
But, what do they know?
I guess so, right? I thought, I was just gas or something. But
That would be hilarious. You go to the whole thing. Yeah, you just it looks like you have a little bit of a blockage going on because you had some tacos and like some pizza.
Yeah, a lot of Del Taco last night, sir. So we did the whole thing right. Went to the hospital. Everyone's like, "Oh, you'll be in and out. Just tell me you have chest pains." That didn't work. So we're sitting outside. It's like 100 degrees outside when I went. Long story short, like everything's good, but like I received like 4 bills from the hospital.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what it was. And there was 2 that were similar amounts, and 2 were way cheaper. One was like 20, one was like 20. The other one was like, whatever, 500.
Okay.
And I paid the 2 20s and one of the 500s, just assuming they just, it's the same bill, but for whatever reason, they messed it up and they're sending me 2. Whatever, I don't know.
Right.
I'm never in the ER. And apparently these doctors that I saw that I didn't agree to, of course, weren't in the hospital. Like they weren't employees. So they were brought on. So the doctor charged me separately out of the hospital as well. So the doctor charged me $500. The hospital charged me $500. And I got paid for like the radiologist and the EKG or something.
That's how I don't know. It's just a weird system because you go in the hospital and then they just start throwing things at you, and you just you have no regard what any of this costs.
Right.
Obviously, you're concerned for your health, or else you wouldn't be in the ER. I'm going there at last desperation cause.
And we got in there like
something's got to be in my eye, like a knife or some shit like that. Right. Like I got to have a bone sticking out of my body. Right. Like I got to have something.
Doctor tells you need to immediately go to the hospital.
Right. Like I'm talking. This is super extreme, and so of course you're like, okay, if all signs are pointing towards me being in the ER right now, I should probably listen to what they have to say, because this could go south really quick. And that's when they start throwing a bunch of things at you. Mm-hmm. And now you're stuck with 4 medical bills that you have no idea what they're for.
No clue what I'm doing with them. And so finally, like, a debt collector called me like 2 weeks ago.
A debt collector?
A debt collector called me.
Did you think it was a fraud call at first?
Yeah, I'm like, eat my ass.
Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah, and then
what
they're
is
like,
happening?
You haven't paid a hospital bill, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what hospital? And they're like, Saddleback or whatever. And I'm like, I called them. They're like, yeah, you owe us money, of course. They're not going to say, no, you're good, you don't owe us money. It's never that. It's never, oh, never mind, it was our mistake.
No, it's always pin. Yeah. corner you in.
It's never like, oh, actually, we actually owe you money. We overcharged you.
Never the case.
So they're like, yeah, you owe us money. I'm like, cool, can I pay you instead of this debt collector? And they're like, no, you have to pay the debt collector. So I had to call the debt collector.
Wait, was there interest on this thing?
No.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
No, it wasn't like it wasn't whatever. They made like $20 or whatever it was. So finally, if you're talking about, looking at the positives, now at least I'm past that. And I have more bills I got from last year now from my knee doctor that just came in the mail.
Dude, why are they on like a year-long?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
They're tardy.
I don't know.
They should be paying us fees here.
I think so. I mean, universal health care never sounds so sweet at this moment. My God. There's something about that universal health care that really just butters my bread.
So you're still thinking about getting that surgery, or you're just like, nah, dude, I'm just gonna power through this thing.
I'm just powering it through.
After seeing that next medical bill, you're like,
maybe
not.
Until I can financially afford my body feeling better, I'm not going to get the surgery.
Isn't that sad?
Until I can financially be like, oh, I need my knee.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, you're in retrospect, your knee is doing exactly what it needs to be doing right now.
I mean, out of all things, it's a torn meniscus. It's totally fine. It just sucks when I try to do anything like quick lateral movements, which for a while we were doing the basketball league, and that was the only issue with it. Everything else has been fine. Madison's like, you don't limp anymore. You never complain about your knee since you've stopped playing basketball, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. It was a torn meniscus. But anyways, buddy, I mean, it's been good.
So
good stuff.
Cool. I'm glad you're now out of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pass that one part about your chest hurting there and how you just got to deal with the knee a little bit.
Yeah. So
what's going on there? Is it steep?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a steep cost?
Oh, the knee? Oh, for sure.
Oh boy.
I mean,
not the surgery itself. I'm talking just like the initial consultation.
Oh no, it was just more money. It's never like $20. It's like another $120.
Okay.
No, and then there's like 2 of them.
Okay,
So it's like $240
That's not too bad. That's not terrible.
for a while there. For like I don't know, like about a year to a year and a half ago, my body just decided, you know what, we're falling apart now.
Well, it's one of those things though that we haven't really had to do anything for our bodies ever.
Yeah.
And like if there is a time, I guess, now is a better time than when we were like 19 and 20. Could you imagine trying to pay those bills now? I mean, like maybe would have had our parents help out a little bit. Thank goodness for that. But like,
I mean, if I had to pay medical bills at 19 and 20, I would have offered like Little Caesars pizza. Been like, hey, do you want like, hot and ready and an Arizona tea? It's about my budget currently.
Talking about medical bills, I got screwed over by the dentist. And I needed the dental work.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get that. You don't want to be walking around just like got some dentures in at the age of like 50, but really rough when you're getting like a root canal. Got like an onlay, basically like a crown, essentially on like my molar, and that's like $300, $400, and like going back like a couple times, it's like, golly,
right?
This is not. I mean, this thank goodness for insurance, but like, holy cow, that really kind of put a little dent in the wallet, but anyways, I feel like we're getting a little bit sidetracked here.
I like talking about our bodies. This is great 30-year-old coming of age stuff here. Just your teeth, we're gonna get to talk your
more
butt
about, more
start falling apart.
We're gonna start talking more about that in a little bit as well.
But let's.
I guess it's nice to complain
for sure. I mean, I feel like when the older you get, you talk about your body falling apart, and at my our parents' age now, it's friends that have gone to the greater pastures, and that's all they talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
true.
like your body hurts, and then it's who's gone to the greater beyond. You know what I mean? But speaking of going to the greater beyond, which is your current average in these pick'ems we're doing.
Yeah, nice segue there, bud.
Thank you. I'm really working on them. Why don't you go ahead and explain again what we're doing, and then I can brag about me just clapping your cheeks all week.
It's 1 week. It was 1 week.
Big comeback for you. You're going to need a big comeback.
Basically, what we're doing is we're doing a season-long race with the PGA Tour, along with the FedEx Cup for all of the tournaments that are going on. And Tommy and I are doing a little bit of a bet, picking 3 players actually from 3 different brackets of tiered players based off of MGM sports betting, based on like their odds on their success to actually win the tournament, their favorites. So I can actually pull this up real quick, but basically we are doing this for all the major tournaments. I believe we got the Arnold Palmer Invitational that's coming up, and then the players, and then we're going to do the match play event over in Texas. That's kind of like a quick look at the near future here.
We're going to do any tournaments we feel like watching or have the ability to watch.
Totally, or it like sparks a little bit of an interest, right?
Right. So match play is always one of my favorites to watch. Arnold Palmer is awesome to watch.
Yeah.
The Masters, all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're just going to recap a little bit from the tournament that happened this past weekend, which was the Genesis Open and Invitational. And in our last episode, we did go through and pick 3 players. 1 player is through the top favorite to the 15th.
Yep.
16th through 40th, and then 40th through the rest of the field. So we're allowed to pick 1 player from each. And we started that off basically who gets honors and who gets dibs for those first picks through the first for each category. And I had the first pick this time, which hurts a little bit more because
Your first pick did great.
First pick did great. So I can recap this a little bit, but basically you had Xander Schauffele, right, from your top 15, and then you went Tommy Fleetwood, and then you went Matt Kuchar.
Classics.
And my God, you were worried about Matt Kuchar.
Balling.
And he was an all-star for you this weekend.
Yeah, I had no worries.
Played really well.
It's no worries. No worries. There was no digital file of it. There's nothing in speech or recorded. Matt Kuchar is a baller.
Good thing that your audio is definitely posted on all major platforms that are
In The Cabbage.
That are going podcasts here. Xander had an all right tournament. It seemed like he was a little bit out of sorts for the most part, but he got you a 33rd. Not bad, Tommy Fleetwood 20th, again out kicking the coverage, but the big one is Matt Kuchar coming in 8th. That was huge for you right there.
I just glad I did my research and knew that Matt Kuchar plays great at Riviera.
You did kind of call it. You said he did have a couple of recent tournaments, but you know, pulling on that, and that's exactly what I did with Max Homa, and so he was a 2021 winner. He was my upper echelon pick for the top 1 through 15.
I like that echelon. That was nice. I like that throw in
and,
there.
And then it quickly fell off from there because it went from 16th to 40th, and I grabbed Siwoo Kim. Had a rough weekend. He didn't make the cut, and that's tough. That's really tough when all 3 of your players made the cut and don't make the cut by just a small margin. They are successfully in the tournament and earning themselves a pretty decent paycheck. So yeah, it's not, unfortunately, just he missed the cut. It's going to be like 65th and beyond. We're actually doing where they finished at the time.
Yeah.
So the mental headspace might have been a little bit screwed because it was 102 in the field, which is a rough finish. And then we're going to cap it all off with a guy that probably lost his head a little bit.
Probably.
And when I say probably, it was most certain, because when you're not making the cut and you're well off the cut line, you're probably losing your head a little bit and just now maybe having a beer on the course. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but knowing Joel Damon, he's
probably having some fun.
He was probably having some fun out there, and he finished up with 109th with not making the cut.
Man.
So averages for this week, we're going to give you not just a slight nod here, but I would say an overwhelmingly big win. You've had an average of 20th for the picks, and I would say that's a great first round. This is the first time we were doing all of our tiers. Yeah. Because the first time we kind of just went through and grabbed like a couple top players and maybe a reacher pick. I kind of did the similar situation, but then this week is that first week we are putting in, you know, top tier, second tier. For sure. Exactly. So I think 20th could be one of the better picks of all weeks.
Yeah, finishing 20th average.
I mean, you could grab a guy in the top 15 that doesn't make the cut. It just is not their week,
right?
You know. So yeah, and then I finished with an average of 71st.
Ooh.
So, oh boy, that is. Hold on to your straps there. That is quite the margin. So
You're
now
have to have a big comeback.
I'm going to need to put together a few
couple
solid weeks here, because if we're looking down the line how many tournaments we're going to be doing this for. I would guess 10.
Yeah, I would say
12,
10.
maybe.
10 seems good.
Yeah.
So I think after this tournament, if you're averaging out, right now my average placing in these is 17th.
Yep, 17th.
And your average placing right now is 40th.
I don't want to talk about it.
Is 40th. You're way back there. I can't even see you. Are you even making the cut at 40th? So remember, if whoever the loser is at the end of the season is going to have to do something, we'll let the audience pick. But it's not going to be super enjoyable. Maybe it's, you know, you buy me a golf round. Yeah, that could be rough for both of us, you know?
Yeah, it definitely could be.
Yeah.
It just
probably more
just,
torturous.
Just don't involve anything if I lose with anything eating like, you know, 30 pancakes. There's just no way I'm surviving that.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for you. I'll make you eat cheese.
Like, three large pieces of za or something.
Yeah,
like three large pizzas.
I might get you stuffed crust from Pizza Hut.
You're
going to finish it all.
You're going to be responsible for my medical bills this time, though.
Yeah, I'll get you 17 different charges. That's what I'm good at. Other sports we watched this weekend that were fun to watch. Not much.
Before we move on here, let's keep recapping Genesis. Though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
yes,
let's keep recapping that. So because we do want to have more golf and then more other stuff with the NBA, but certainly do want to recap a little bit of the Genesis here first. But I'll let you kick it off. What are your opening thoughts? What do you think of the tournament?
I think next year we have to go. Well, if it's during the Ryder Cup again, probably not going to be able to go. But it's always one of the fun ones to watch on TV. Really interesting course design. Love that Tiger was out there. I love that he made the cut. I think that was awesome. It was pretty cool. I watched an interview with him, and it was pretty fun. You asked me, what do you think would be a successful weekend for Tiger personally? And I said making the cut, but he won't think that.
Right.
And he legitimately answered that question, like, you know, what would you consider success this weekend? And he said, winning.
Right.
But, you know, some people think it's making the cut. That's not my personal goal. So maybe Tiger Woods is listening to this podcast. I don't know if he is or isn't, but what's up, Tiger? I think it was great. I was looking. I mean, of course, it's the Tiger show out there, and it's all I'm watching or all I'm hearing about.
I mean, I love it.
Right.
Who doesn't?
And,
Love a little Tiger action.
His swing speeds was ridiculous. His ball striking was, for the driver was unreal.
Yeah, it was pretty immaculate, I would say.
JT a tampon mid-course, I thought was funny between friends.
I thought it was funny. I got a little bit of heat, but, what are you going to do?
Whatever, man. Like,
they're having fun.
I don't get it.
That's the stuff that you want to see out there. You want to see a little bit of a slight jawing. You want to see a little bit more character out of these guys. That's just me personally, especially if we're pulling for guys like Max Homa that show a little bit of personality in like interviews. It's okay to get a little bit more of that out there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I get why people can be upset or whatever, but it wasn't with malintent of calling him a female or whatever. It was just like, hey, I drive the ball farther than you. That's like, and he's old school. I mean, I don't know really what you want. This is sports. This is what guys do. I mean, every time you miss a putt short on a golf course, there's some sort of joke.
There's some remark.
Some remark.
It's maybe a little out of place, but, whatever. It's just like the old school saying, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe it should change, but I personally think it was awesome.
Yeah. It's always fun to see those little jabs.
Because they're buddies, and they don't mean anything by it. And,
right.
Tiger's got daughters and stuff like that. I'm sure he's not trying to be malicious in any sort of way with those things.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the swing speeds. It's ridiculous. It's truly showing me that Tiger can still play golf. If it wasn't for his leg, I have no doubt in my mind he'd be having another 5 years in his golf game with the PGA Tour if he wanted that. But with his leg, it's just not possible. He just can't do it. And it's only going to get harder when he has to walk tougher courses. Like Riviera seemed like a pretty tough walk I would assume from TV. It doesn't look very super flat all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't look the flattest, and also it's just every course is long, and it's cold.
4 days of walking,
and it's freezing temperatures out there too, which also doesn't favor Tiger's back, which is even more of something to kind of tip our hats to. It's like this guy can drive the golf ball and create some serious speed, and he's 47 years old, and it's really fun to watch him play. And I have to agree with you. There's no doubt in my mind that if he were to stay healthy and not have gotten in that car accident, he would have had his 83rd PGA Tour win by now.
I think we don't talk about it enough. Like, I'm sure his back also got more jacked up from that car accident.
I'm sure.
Like it just...
The dude's he might have had an asterisk for that next PGA Tour win because he's basically a metal man. He's a machine at this point.
Yeah, he's basically Iron Man walking around, which is, it just really shows you where modern science is nowadays because this guy can still play golf with a fused back. Who knows what rods, pins, screws, and duct tape and super glue's holding on to his leg. But he's still playing golf. It's pretty crazy.
He looks good. And it's as far as him not playing in a competitive match competition tournament in 7 or 8 months, it was really fun to watch him go out there and compete. I think he enjoyed it as well, which is why I think we're going to see a little bit more of him this year, just depending on how his body feels. So that was really fun. I definitely got to watch a little bit of the final round. I didn't watch all of it. We had a couple of things going on because we were obviously coming back from the Ryder Cup.
Right.
But it was still really fun. I got to watch the highlights. I threw those on Sunday night. That was really fun, really cool. It looked like a very competitive day. And I really just think that the PGA Tour is really coming up right now because there's so many rising stars and so many athletic young players that are just playing the game with so much passion right now. I think it's really cool to watch Jon Rahm, Max Homa, Scotty Scheffler. Roy's maybe a little bit on the older side. Maybe he's not young, but still is massively talented.
Mm-hmm.
You still have
Jordan Spieth.
You still have both of those guys really playing well. It's just really fun to watch these guys play. And then obviously you got some of the younger guys, Sam Burns, et cetera, Victor Hovland. The list goes on is what I'm trying to say.
It's trumping live golf right now. It's competition.
It is coming up all PGA Tour. And I have nothing really against live. I just think that the PGA Tour is vastly more enjoyable to watch. And I just saw a couple of posts on Instagram on Golf Digest, and they were releasing the teams and who was playing. And I was like, I don't really care
It
to
looked
look.
corny.
I didn't really care to look into this. Really,
It looked corny.
I like the concept of teams. I just didn't. It just wasn't pulling me in that direction yet.
If I was Live Golf, what I would do would be make the team events every once in a while. Individual event, a team event. An individual event, team event. I guess you could win individually throughout all these tournaments. To be honest, I haven't watched. I watched bits and parts of it, but I do think it's all individual throughout the whole tournament, so you can win individually, and you can also win for your team. But that's not, the point. They also changed their names. I didn't even know why.
Yeah, they all have like team names.
Yeah, but they changed their names. There's
Interesting.
new updated team names.
Got it. They're also going to full uniforms now. They're going to be all matching in the same stuff and outfits. Anyways, I'm getting off topic a little bit here, but like I do think it's coming up all PGA Tour because then you got Full Swing that's coming out. We're going to touch on that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Max Homa that is addressing the media after the tournament and
getting emotional.
Is basically, I mean, he's crying on TV about how he wanted this tournament so badly. And you can argue against the other way around that Live Golf, the players there, it doesn't, I mean, I don't follow it as much as I do follow the PGA Tour, but I haven't really seen any of that coverage, those releases, that passion, that same kind of fire come out from the Live tournaments,
Yeah, I haven't seen, I remember last year when they won the championship and they're spraying champagne. I just remember watching this post and it was like it just feels corny.
Yeah.
It just feels like they don't, and
it feels very manufactured.
The only golfer I really miss over there's two that I really miss over there watching on a daily basis is Matt Wolff.
Yeah.
I used to love watching Matt Wolff.
He was fun when he broke onto the PGA Tour for sure.
And then Cam Smith.
Yeah. Cam Smith, I
think, is the biggest loss. Dustin Johnson clearly doesn't care.
The man is cooler than the other side of the pillow, man.
Yeah, that guy is just all time.
When he was putting on that performance at the Open last year, it was really special.
Totally. I think he's the biggest loss out of them.
Yeah.
But, Jon Rahm just really cementing himself in the idea of being one of the best golfers all time.
He is on a tear right now.
He doesn't look like it can
He's like
be
his
beaten.
average score this year is 67.8 or something like that for every time he tees it up.
He's looks like he can,
70,
anytime he can step on a course right now, he's a top 5 favorite, no problem.
Easy.
Like every tournament, I'm never like, oh, Jon Rahm not going to have a shot at this one. Max Homa, love the battle. It was awesome to see Max in another one again. Like you said, just really genuine guy. It's awesome to see. I think like you said, PGA Tour is in a great place. I'm really excited to see these next tournaments coming up and the new bigger purses, and it's only going to get better with the Tiger Woods Golf League that's coming out, the indoor one. I know people are skeptical about that, but trust me, it's going to be killer. You're going to want to watch it. It's not going to be something to skimp on. It's going to change.
He's doing it on Mondays, I heard, right?
Yeah,
it's like the Monday Night Lights or something like that. It's basically like not replacing, but taking the place of Monday Night Football in off season,
right?
Which is really cool.
And I think it's going to be something you're going to want to watch. All the top players. So like, there's a lot of top players who've already agreed to it. So it's not like we got scrubs out there who we don't know.
It's really cool.
It's going to be fun.
It looks like it's going to be very aesthetically pleasing to watch. It's going to be in a full stadium, this and that. It's full interactive surfaces. I'm really excited to see what they roll out here.
PGA Tour, just keep going. Don't stop.
Sure.
Don't okay, we've buried Liv. Let's put him in a body bag. Let's get him in the morgue. Let's ship him home.
I love what they're doing. It's really cool. It's
because
fun.
I think just keep it up. Other sports we caught this weekend though was the dunk competition. It was about all we ever watched before I started. Hitting the bed early because of being so tired from the Ryder Cup. But
yeah, that was electric. We're talking about the NBA and the slam dunk competition. My goodness.
Yeah, it was fun.
McLung put on a show.
It was fun with all the boys having some drinks. Normally when I'm watching these things, I'm by myself and I don't feel the electricity of it. But with the boys watching it, it was a lot of fun.
I got up. Well, yeah, we got up for that. I mean,
Yeah.
we were like, throwing our hands in the air, running around basically, because this man standing at 6 feet tall was jamming the basketball.
Highlight of the basketball, highlight of the All-Star weekend, which in my opinion needs to just go away completely.
It's not great.
It's awful. They don't play defense. The 3-point competition sucks. The slam dunk competition sucks unless Mac does what he did there, which was great.
I mean, literally, it revived the entire All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I don't care to watch Mac dunk. I mean, that was great, but I want to see LeBron, Giannis. I want to see guys.
Yeah.
Top stars throwing these dunks down, and I don't know if you know, but I think I mentioned something of it. But Mac was on a 10-day contract just to do the dunk competition.
Yeah,
so that's rough. Like he's not an all-star dunker. You know what I mean? Like he's not playing significant minutes in the NBA.
Right.
He's in the G League.
Yeah.
But it was super fun to watch the man succeed. I bet you it was such a cool moment for him. Some of the best, most creative dunks I've seen in a very long time. But since me and jamming back in high school, put my elbow.
That's what they used to say about you. You keep living those glory days in your mind, bud.
You describe my game a lot of bounce.
Yeah, a lot of bounce, a lot of electric first step.
Yeah, quickness,
right?
Speed, agility. A lot.
That's probably why that meniscus blew out on you.
Yeah,
you just
couldn't keep up.
Exactly.
I had to blow it out. Yeah, man. It was fun. But the main show that weekend for ourselves was the Ryder Cup, and let's buckle in here because if you guys aren't ready for some golf talk, this is a good time to maybe
we're gonna strap in here. This is gonna be this is probably the main topic here.
Here we go
of tonight. So,
just a recap of what this is. If you haven't listened, Andrew and I and Davis throw a golf tournament for some of our friends, and it's a 4v4, tournament that we throw on different events.
Yep, match play style.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it is individual, but most of the time it's paired together with another teammate of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the rundown of it. So it's 4-on-4, like Tommy mentioned, but because it's 4-on-4 and we play 3 rounds of golf, you're not allowed to repeat partners. So you're playing with every single person from your team. Exactly. The matchups might be similar, or like you might be playing against the same person a couple of times. I played
against Vinny all weekend.
Yeah, I played against Max all weekend long. But, that's totally fine. It's fun to play with each individual member. You can't, stack teams, whatever. It's pretty even. We all have a set handicap. We had a few different game types that we rolled out. And, we can go through a little bit here. But
let's break down each day.
Yeah, first course was great.
First course, we played a night course. It was a par 3 course. We thought it was a par 3, par 4, but it was just a par 3 course, which was awesome.
The lights at Indio.
Yeah, paid $50 for it with a cart. But I'm talking all-time par 3 course.
All time.
Tee boxes were a little chewed up, but that's typical for par 3 courses.
Yeah.
But the greens were amazing. The grass, the fairway, all awesome. There wasn't many greens hit in reg. With everyone out there, was a lot of stiff swings.
It was
really cold.
It was a little cold, a little windy. The course was in immaculate shape, and I was actually shocked on how fast and small and rough the pin placements were. I mean, it made for a really tough round of golf. I mean, you know how much I struggle on par 3s. I was giving zero help to my partner. That was Vinny that day.
Yeah, talk about Vinny All-Star there. He basically, not to throw you in a body bag.
He carried me
through at least 9 holes.
I hopped in a body bag that you threw me in.
You got Dora.
He picked me up.
Right.
Threw me in his Dora the Explorer backpack.
Boots. Yeah.
And I just hopped in there for the ride for 7, 8, 9 holes, dude. I mean, I didn't really contribute.
He was not hitting greens, but close enough, and he did hit a lot of greens.
Yeah.
And if you guys weren't hitting greens, you were chipping up to a decent area, and Vinny was rolling that fucking puck. He was slapping that thing around, man.
He was, and he was rolling it really well.
He was banging out putts left and right. Max and I, who, teams were me, Max on USA, Davis, and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And Me and Max gave it our best shot. We just didn't have our A game, and that's okay. That's, as the lower handicap there, I need to step up for the team, and I just didn't bring it, which seemed to be the theme of my weekend rounds. I would say,
That's tough.
we'll keep going with it. But
I definitely did love Vinny did carry on the front nine. It was great. We were up 2.
Yeah, you were up 2. We actually evened it again, and you hit. And then Vinny put a ball to 2 feet on a hole 9.
On hole 9,
that
that's
got
right.
you up 1, which is kind of demoralizing.
And then it flipped from the Texas Scramble, but I guess is it called Shamble?
It's called a Shamble.
Okay.
Technically, got corrected on that today. It's called a Shamble. And then that was on the front 9 holes.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back 9 holes, we did alternate shot. And felt like Max and me really threw something together pretty well. But you and Vinny at that point just had such great synergy that it was pretty hard to step in. You got, I think, another 1-hole 10 pretty fast after that. Vinny banged in another 10-footer, 11-footer again.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think I took the even holes. Vinny took the odd. You took the even. Max took the odd.
Yeah.
I feel like we were really kind of just clicking when someone made a bad tee shot. We were able to kind of salvage a par bogey look. It was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the alternate shot. It was my personal favorite format of the weekend. It was the most intriguing. It was the most fun. It was the most engaging
as a team. I think it was really good.
Yes.
It was the first time we've ever done it. Alternate shot is typically, I would say, in team events, the hardest team event.
Yeah.
And so it makes it difficult.
What else would be more difficult?
It makes it really difficult if you have people who don't hit the ball consistently very well. I don't hit the ball very consistently very well, but I can get you down there. I can play golf. There's sometimes we have people in this group who struggle with consistent.
I struggle. Everyone little struggles.
Right. So we didn't want people who like Chris who ball out have to be stuck with somebody who can't get the ball off the tee. It makes it a little rough. Day 3 I couldn't hit the ball straight. It makes it rough to do. But on a par 3 course, it was perfect.
Yeah, really fun, really fun. A little bit more of a back and forth action. Far less pars. Are just overall you need basically a birdie or a par to win. If you're getting par on alternate shot, that's good for a win. So there is lots of room for movement back and forth.
It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. We unfortunately took the L. I think we lost on hole 16 or 15. Davis and Bryce were playing an individual match by themselves, and they were just kind of vibing, hanging out. It was cool. They were kicking it with us. It was a very relaxed, great way to break into a weekend full of golf. Mm-hmm. I thought everyone really enjoyed it. Super fun, very mellow, very, very fun. Went back home, tried to get some sleep. Of course, we stayed up till 3 or 4 o'clock per usual.
Well, you had the other car of 3 that are rolling in hot.
Yeah.
And they came in at 11, so we just kept it going at that point. But, I feel like we got a little bit tossed on that first night on that Friday.
Of course. It's always the first night that gets you. And then you're trying to play recovery the rest of the time you're there. And you just never recover. You just never sleep. You never recover as well as you wish you would. But leading into Saturday, in the afternoon, we were playing Desert Islands, which used to be an old country club, now public. It hasn't been public for very long. I think it's been public for a couple years.
Yeah, I asked the guy at the front desk. He said 2016, but more recently, in the last 2 years, and more specifically this past year, I don't know really exactly what he meant by that, but they've become more predominantly public, and I guess maybe what he meant by that was getting their name out there.
Right. I saw a billboard driving in, and let me tell you, if you want a casual, tough course with some awesome views and some great layout,
look no further.
The price was $110.
$110 with a cart.
I mean, drinks all time.
Super good bar, pretty good food. They
Okay,
also
food.
had pretty good food for a golf
The
course.
burger was a smash burger. Forgot about it. Pretty fire.
Yeah.
All-time putting green. The driving range was awesome. It's very old school Vegas. I didn't get to go in the clubhouse, which I maybe wish I would have walked through now thinking about that.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer. But the putting green, let's not like skimp on that. They had like 20 holes that you can go and like putt on. Was it 18? They had them all like numbered off.
Oh, I didn't even see that part. That's crazy.
And they also had like the driving range that was over there.
All
and
grass free, complimentary with it.
Crazy. And every like it was, they had like the Titleist, ball buckets and people refilling them. And then you have
the
like
customer service. My God, it's the best customer service I've had at a golf course, bar none. We've done this 2 years now into the Ryder Cup, and I would say more than half of the golf courses we've worked with this have not been okay. Like, have been not understanding or like rude to us in some sort of way, because it can be a little confusing. We have a bunch of guys coming in. They don't know what's going on. It's under one of our names. But they were so accommodating, happy we were there, taking pictures with us.
The starter was all time. Alan?
Alan was great.
Oh, my God. I mean, the man really set the tone for the entire day.
Alan giving tips. Don't hit driver. Hit 3-wood. Get yourself in the fairway. A little course breakdown what this is actually. So for whatever reason, they decided to build a lake in the middle of the desert here. And it's surrounded by condos or a hotel. And there's their signature hole is a floating fairway.
Yeah, number 9.
Which was so cool. Unfortunately, I did not play well again.
Yeah, you can count on me to miss that one.
So I hit the floating fairway, a little 3-wood.
Nice, buddy.
Right down the middle, hit
solid.
It, and put the second one right into the water, right into the drink, which is pretty typical. I did not play well. Vinny again played out of his mind. Vinny and Bryce were destroying my mental. Every time I thought they were out of a hole, they hit a beautiful. I mean, they were at one point like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit a cut here," and they were behind us, and they both hit cuts to like the green. And I mean, when people are doing that, and they're OB, and then now they're on in 3, and they make a par putt from like 10 or 12 feet. It gets really demoralizing to keep trying to play like that. I think I was me and Davis were down 4 through 9.
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
But we made a little bit of comeback on the back. I started to play better, started to get a little hotter after I had some more drinks. I didn't get to see or hear about your guys' match very much, but we ended up losing that. Vinny and Bryce, awesome job playing. It's always, I never know the name of it. It's egg and ham and cheese. I never know the terminology for it.
It's a nice little duo, a little salt and pepper.
They played great.
Play off each other great.
I, at some point, just said, you know what? I'm going to lose this match, and I'm just going to go out here and have some fun and start hitting the ball around a bit more with my buddies.
It's not a bad course to have a little bit of that mindset and kind of take a step back, because you can kind of get, woe is me.
Right.
But it's a course that you really don't want to pass up on, and you want to soak in those views, and it really delivers on those views.
It was, no joke, one of my favorite golf courses for views we played, and I was very bummed because I thought it wasn't going to live up. Like, I thought like this course was the peak of our weekend going into Sunday, but I want to hear about your match.
The match was really cool. Con and I, my brother, definitely, we were scrapping. It was a battle to stay into it because Chris and Max came out of the gates firing. They both went par, par birdie for Chris, par. They were playing 1 under through 4 together individually, and we were only down 1.
Wow, that's pretty impressive from the boys by you guys.
Max was hitting the ball unbelievable. He got up to like hole number 2 and lost his ball out of bounds, and then hit this miraculous like 170, 80-yard iron shot to the back of the green, pins all the way in the front. These greens are pretty lightning fast. Did they tell you the stimp? It was 11?
10 and a half, he said.
They were fast.
They were
full downhill. And he, right before he steps over his putt, he just says, hell, man, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. This is a tough situation to be in. Steps over it, just drains the 45-footer.
That's ridiculous.
For par. So saves it.
Oh, my
God. And
God.
I'm sitting there after I just put a ball into the bunker, which was a great drive, actually, pretty solid.
Love that from Max, by the way.
Hit the lip of the bunker because I caught it just a fraction thin, pissed, because Chris is on the green putting for birdie, and I'm like, oh my God, we lost this hole for sure. We're out of it.
Right.
Step up there on the same club, stick it to like 8 feet.
Of course you do.
Yeah, it was really nice. But then I see Max's putt going from 45 feet. I'm like, oh my God, Chris can actually be a little more freed up to roll in this birdie putt right now, and I got zero chance, and it's really demoralizing. But Chris ends up missing that putt from like 20, 25 feet. Not a guaranteed make by any means.
No, it's outside the range.
Yeah, and then I roll in my 8-footer. Save par. It was
Of course
huge.
you did.
That just keeps the momentum trucking on full steam
I bet
ahead.
you Con was hyped.
Oh, it was cloud nine for the both of us.
Con was probably loving it.
We were, and then fast forward through the whole match, the front nine, they were playing really well. Chris was playing out of his mind. He hit 13 out of 14 fairways for the round. Just to give you an idea of what we were dealing with, that man was feeling himself off the tee. I mean, we were joking by hole 6 that he can pick up his ball and put it 295 in the middle of the fairway. And then by hole 13, he still hasn't missed a fairway, and it's 290 in the middle. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? We're now just wasting time.
Right.
He missed one fairway, and it was on hole 10.
Yeah.
And it was barely off the fairway. It was like first cut.
Okay.
And like it's really not missing a fairway. He
Right.
basically went 14 for 14. The man was on fire. He
Love that
he
from
could have
USA.
shot 70 flat if he actually made a couple putts. No joke. He probably hit like 13 to 14, 15 greens in a reg. And he still shot. He had like a couple like slip ups here or there, but for the most, I think he shot 74.
That's
Right,
insane.
74.
Insane.
Only 2 bogeys on the card. Rest. Maybe I'm take that back. I'm sorry. 3 bogeys, 1 bird. I believe it's something like that. But we are just dodging haymakers left and right. I mean, Connor's making birdie putts from 25 feet from upon a
that
par
kid.
3.
I have beef with that kid.
Like I drained I made 3 putts in a row for par, and where I missed the green, made 3 up and down saves. The bunker, the next hole, I went way long because I've blocked myself out from trees, hit this hooking 7-iron over the green, made a flop shot to like 7 feet, rolled in that par, go to the par 3 on the next one, block it right, chip it to 20 feet, drain this big swooping putt from right to left by 3 feet, drain that one to save par to keep us in it. I mean, we are throwing everything we got at these dudes, and they are not going away. They are backing down, and they are just keeping the pressure on. I got to give them credit. I can't believe we were even in that match to begin with.
Yeah, once you hit a couple 20-footers, I don't have the mental fortitude to keep myself in it anymore.
I mean, it was a matter of time, though, because of how well Chris was playing. And Max, by no means, I don't mean to just skip on Max right now, because he was playing really, really solid golf as well.
Yeah.
Max was playing really solid. He had his fair bit of contribution. He was balling. I can't recall exactly what he came up with on the round. Maybe it was like a 94 or something like that. But on the front nine, he was special. He was only like 1 or 2 over through he was only 2 over through 8. 2 over through 8.
Well, that's really good.
And I'm just like, how are we only 1 down through 9 holes?
That's really impressive. USA needed that win, though, to keep us in the tournament.
Yeah, they did, and they got it with commanding fashion, though, because Chris and Max, I believe, won. It came down. We lost on hole 16. We lost that hole, and so they got it 3-2. But we were battling really good there. We got it to 1, and we almost closed it in on them. But all in all, what a spectacular day. Talk about the 9th hole, because you touched on it a little bit. I just had a complete meltdown on Saturday. I could not keep the ball in play. Thank goodness my recovery game was all right.
Which is always
But
is.
my goodness, it was left, it was right,
Dang,
it was right, it was in. I mean, I lost like 5 or 6 golf balls that day. On number 9, I chose to hit 4-iron into that island fairway, which was one of the coolest holes that we've ever played. I think
you gotta go. I mean, yeah, it has to be. I mean, I haven't played on the iron. I mean, I've done.
You're going
island greens.
Yeah.
And I've done.
Never seen an island fairway.
It was legitimately a bridge to the island and then a bridge off the island. So
Right.
it was totally suspended in water.
Super cool. Threw a 4-iron straight in the drink. Teed up again. Sorry, not teed up again. Dropped my ball where it fell in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, and then I just hit another 5-iron because I was like 215 out. Put that straight in the water right again.
Did you drop another one?
Dropped one right in front. Yeah, I had to close out the hole and save triple. Drained another 25-footer to save triple. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I put, like I said, I put on the 9th hole, I put 3-wood, 230 or something, middle fairway, grab hybrid, and slap a really bad. I had no distance. I could not get any distance or consistent striking on my ball. Didn't feel like my swing was bad, but I just couldn't find the middle of the club face, and I was a club short on everything, maybe even 2 at times. And the flat stick, holy moly. I might as well.
Just ice cold, huh?
I mean, like Iceman times 12, igloo. Like, couldn't find a comfortable stance. I'm using my arms to bring my putter back. Hands are going first, then the arms. It was that perfect putting mat needs to come out immediately.
When the putting goes for you, it goes for some reason. It's not like it's kind of there, it's kind of not. It's either you have it and it's rock solid, or it's completely left you.
I can't make like 4-footers right now.
And it's weird because when it's on, it's some of the best that I've seen just for casual golfers.
Right.
You step over the ball and it's a 4-footer, and I'm like, this is in. We played scramble last year at the Miles Square tournament, and I'm like, I don't even think I ever putted once from like 4 feet and in, because I was going second at the time.
Right.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. And so we got to get you to find some sort of.
It's that perfect putting mat that's gonna be whipped out here shortly. Just need to rep it out more.
That's on Miles Square.
Mm-hmm.
You feel really comfortable. We got to get you comfortable on different surfaces and different courses, different tempos.
I think it was just
speeds.
I wasn't putting well at Ukaipa either. And I'm used to that course.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not a matter of similar. It's just the stroke is off. The stroke, the stance, where I'm hitting it, it's just bad. But yeah, so we left that course on a high. It was, even though USA was down 2.
Sorry, 3-1.
3-1. USA down
total.
2. Leaving that course, I felt hopeful. Chris and I were going to play with each other on Sunday. Max and Davis were going to play with each other. We didn't know our matchups. We drew out of a hat to see who we were playing. The matchups going into Sunday were actually me and Chris versus Connor and Vinny.
Yep.
And I thought after we pulled the names out of the hat, I really didn't want the matchups, to be honest. But after thinking about it more,
that was exactly the matchups that you guys needed right there.
Because Max was playing so solid, and Max never gets that many strokes from you. I think he got 12 or something.
So the pairing, because Davis was at 30 and Bryce was a 15, it came out to a 12-stroke difference for team best ball. So we had to give them 12 strokes, and then we also did an individual wrinkle. So you go against your closest handicap to the person that you're playing against. So I went against Max. I also had to give him 12 strokes,
right,
which is a boatload. It's too many, honestly. It was a lot with the way he was playing and the way I was playing. More so the way I was playing, but he was playing pretty damn well, out of his mind. He was driving it exceptional, putting it really solid. I mean, it was a pretty special thing to watch. But I like the matchup because I feel like it played into your guys' favor a little bit. Once I saw that matchup come out of the hat, I was it was not a wee bit worried. I was worried.
Yeah, so the points break down into 1 point for team win and a half a point for individual win. Yeah.
So potential for 4 points in total.
So you can win the tournament if you win out on Sunday, or even get 3.5.
Right.
Would win you the tournament. And I was playing against Connor, and it didn't matter who Chris was playing because he was going to win. Chris is, unreal. We played Rancho Mirage, Pete Dye course, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint.
I was a little bit worried walking off Desert Island, like you said before, because it was such great service. It was such a great atmosphere.
Very unique.
Very unique. Something that you just never really see before. Island fairway, very lush and green. And then you roll up to the Pete Dye course.
Not many great photos of Pete Dye. And now I know why the courses don't photo well. It's because his design, when you take a photo from the tee box to the flag, it all lays flat. But what you're not seeing is the undulation, the bunkers, the weird water. It doesn't
I just
photo
lived in
well.
the bunker all day.
Yeah, and there's plenty of them out there for you.
Drop-offs left and right, behind and front, to the sides of the green. There's trouble all over the place, and you cannot escape it unless you are ball striking is on that day, you know?
Yeah, and walk up. The people at the front desk, some of our buddies got there early and tried to check us in. I guess somebody there was pretty rude. I think I know who he was because basically he asked for a break afterwards, and everyone that he was working with gave him shit for it. Like, oh, break already, whatever. Yeah. Then some girl helped us out. She was a homie. The starter was great, and it really started off the round much better for us. And the pace of play was perfect.
Yeah, it was really nice out there.
We didn't see a single group besides hole 10 when we caught up to them finally, because they got concessions and so did we. So once they left hole 10, I never saw them again. And Pete Dye outdid himself. I've played PGA West Pete Dye. When we go to Arizona, we're playing another Pete Dye course at Papago. If I had to compare the two between PGA West and Rancho Mirage, I would rather play Rancho Mirage 9 times out of 10. I found it to be way more interesting to me for some reason. I haven't played Pete Dye West in a while. His stadium, I'm sure now playing it again.
It's fun because you get to see that one on the PGA Tour.
Totally.
Compete a little bit. For some reason, because it was new, catching the eye. Maybe we haven't seen a Pete Dye course in a little while. I was the same way. I was very, very impressed. The views were spot on. The only maybe small little bummer is that it was a little bit on the dried out side, but that is okay with me. It leads for like a very natural look to the environment, which is really cool.
Everything outside of the fairway.
Outside of the fairway.
That's his design.
Yeah, it's very.
So he dries everything out outside of his fairway. It's all that dormant grass.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's like his thing. You're not in the fairway. You're gonna have bad lies. So he kind of tries to create that a bit. Water. Interesting. It's hard to describe like what we're looking at. He always throws like an island hole of some sort on his golf courses, and this one was an island hole surrounded by bunkers. Not just surrounded, like the whole front edge of the green and everything was just a bunker. Super fun. Into the match, Chris and I came out hot. Chris didn't have his best stuff, but I was playing extremely solid. Connor and Vinny were rocked, which I knew was going to happen because I kept trying to warn them.
Just because of the difficulty of the course.
Right. It's a par 70. We were playing 6,800 or something from the tips. It rolls pretty fast, probably like another 10 or 11 again. And I kept trying to warn people who weren't used to this type of golf that it's not for the faint of heart. It's what made me fall in love with golf was one of these golf courses because it was so difficult, another Pete Dye course, that you have to learn how to like slap the ball around a bit and learn where to lay up and learn where not to miss. He lays greens out like they're like nothing, and he lays them diagonally and like longwise, and he just doesn't lay them right in front of you.
And there's mounds, and there's ways that like drop offs, and there's like the fringe is cut a little bit shorter in certain sections, so the ball like collects in these collection areas. And yeah, you put it best. It's not for the faint of heart. It's difficult. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I think it's great.
It's
so
really difficult.
I knew Connor and Vinny were going to be rocked right off the start, just because visually it's really intimidating. And you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I played pretty well through first 8, 9, 10, 11 holes. I think through 1 through 11 I played. Head was in the game, and then the gas I started laying my foot off the gas here. I just kind of let Connor back in the game. I was up 3, but Connor also just didn't go away.
Yeah.
I was up 2, up 3. But
he's kind of a sneaky little scrappy player because he'll have a couple of really bad blow-up holes, and then he'll come right back and like knock out like a couple good shots.
Match play, he can blow up on those holes. And
exactly.
I think he got like 18 for, not 18. I think he got 16 for me or something.
From you?
Yeah.
What would that be? Because you were at a 14, he's at a 23. You got 9.
9. Sorry.
Yeah.
The team was different. They got 12. That's what I'm getting confused with.
Yeah.
He got 9, and which is a lot for me because I wasn't playing very well. And Connor took full advantage of those 9. I think out of the 9 strokes, the last 4 holes or 5 holes, he got 4 of them, 4 pops. Basically came down, I started to take my foot off the gas, and Chris started bawling out of his mind. He beat Vinny on the, no offense to Vinny, beat Vinny on the 14th hole.
Yeah.
I think
when Chris gets locked in like that, and then if the course is playing that difficult, it's hard to figure it out. Chris is going to hit more good shots than maybe, let's say, Vinny, and he's going to be in a little bit more trouble.
Right.
And it's hard to get out of the trouble once you're in the trouble, is what we were kind of talking about. So it just kind of plays into more of Chris's hands.
Right.
And we kind of knew that going in.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, but Connor just started to make his way back into the match. And around hole 13, I realized I'm only up 1 or something like that. And we needed me to win. We didn't know what was going on in the match behind us. I then started to feel the pressure. The drink started getting to me. And Connor was rolling in everything. Every time he needed to make a putt from 10, 12, 13 feet, 9 feet, 8 feet, didn't matter. He was making the putt. I will hold the L for our team this weekend.
If I would have for just really stepping up. It was ridiculous. I feel like all weekend the putter was just lights out.
Red hot for that man. Props to Con for sure. Definitely balled out when I thought it was very much in the bag. I'm not gonna lie, I started feeling the pressure. Had a ridiculous hole against me and Con. Bunker short right, I'm in it. Bunker back left, Connor's in
about
it.
This one.
And I chipped, and on the opposite sides of the green are the bunkers that Connor's in and I'm in.
Narrow front, pins located in the very front of the green, very narrow,
very
short.
easy to try to chip onto the green and have it roll off back to the other bunker.
Yep.
And that's exactly what me and Connor did. I chipped, went to the other side of the bunker. Connor chipped, went back into my bunker. So we just flipped spots. Did that one more time, flipped spots again. Then Connor blades one out of the bunker, super far left, but at least he's out. I chunk another one right back into the same bunker again. And then Connor duffs a chip. Then I chip out to another bunker. So now we're Chris is on the floor laughing. It's bad. It's getting embarrassing. I'm embarrassed because, if I just pushed this hole, we probably would have been fine. And Connor then puts one to 2 feet chipping. So after that point, I basically had to
get 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I had to get on and make the putt, which I finally got on, and to 9 feet or whatever, missed my 9 or 10 footer. He taps it in for a 6. I got a 7. Since after that, I was pretty chalked mentally.
That's tough. Was that hole 16?
Yeah. Then 17, I duffed a drive. Me and him pushed, but he won that one because he popped.
Yeah.
Again, 18. I hit carried water. Hit a beautiful drive, 280, one of my best drives all day. Stepping in, okay, I got to win this hole, get us to a push or whatever. Con ends up, slapping a 4-iron down there and rolls to, 20 feet. I blow my putt past about 5 or 6, thinking I have to make it because Connor's been making everything all day. Connor puts it to, not even halfway. He starts feeling the pressure.
Where he felt a little bit of the pressure, for sure.
Right, and then he drills it from halfway. So he drills a 10-footer. So, yeah, he really felt the pressure. Chris won the match. Won the match for early, won our team play. I know you guys were, coming into it, and Max carried, won his individual.
Yeah. Really, the ending for your match was really dicey, and I know that the math was a little bit unfortunate how you didn't quite work it out.
Right, it got a little confusing. Basically, we ended up. I actually redid the math on my head afterwards, and it wouldn't have mattered because a push would have been
negated.
No point, and then it wouldn't have mattered.
Right, exactly.
So we needed to win.
Right.
So pushing didn't matter.
Exactly.
Which didn't matter anyways, because Chris was like, "Well, you could have won on 18."
So basically, with the way you guys finished up with your match, Connor pushing,
Connor winning.
Okay.
Connor beating
winning.
me.
You guys won team play. Chris won his. So that is 1.5 to you guys. That puts you guys at 2.5, us at 4.5, or at 3.5.
Right.
The way our match kind of shook down a little bit, Honestly, I mean, here come the excuses because, boy, we got a lot of them.
Yeah, we always got a couple for you.
Got a lot of them here. I don't know. Bryce and I are not the most durable players. I will have to say that. If there's one knock, I will speak on myself, but I'm sure Bryce would wholeheartedly agree that his back is not very great either. And he was in a lot of pain, and so was I. I was dealing with a little bit of a different kind of pain. Normally, it's my back that goes. Bryce was having a hip issue, and I was dealing with a little bit of a rear end swollen balloon situation down there.
A sore balloon knot, some would say.
Oh my God, dude. It was horrible. And so I'm out there trying to figure out my way to deal with this pain.
Yeah.
Bryce in the same way. He's blocking everything right, and he's fading, and he's like not finishing his shots. We're already giving them 12 shots. And I will have to say it was way closer than we thought. We thought we were done for in the front nine. I forget exactly where we were at. I think we were even or essentially like that. Maybe we're down 2. Mm-hmm. Gave it up to Max and actually to Davis. Davis was playing really darn well. I was the best I've ever seen him play.
He started good Saturday.
And I want to give Davey a little shout out here because I know the game has come a little bit of a long ways thus far and still has a ways to go.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the
How
man.
about picking up a club during the year, David? So let's continue driving range, huh? Just a couple slap
the
arounds.
range. Let's get clubs that fit you.
Yeah.
But the driver looked great. You were knocking a couple shots around 220, 230. You know, pretty accurate. Hitting some chips. Pretty damn close. Hitting some putts with a lot of good pace.
Hit a clutch putt to put it to OT.
Yeah, and it was unbelievable to see him kind of evolve because I haven't seen him play since the last Ryder Cup. Last Ryder Cup, a little bit different, a little rough. A little rough for the Davy. So it was really fun to watch and to compete against that. Max really, truly had his best stuff all day. I could not shake the man all weekend. It was Friday. It was Saturday. It was
Max
Sunday.
was living rent-free.
He had my number, and he was tossing my shit up.
Yeah, Vinny I went 0 for all weekend in my matches.
Golly.
Vinny just
I feel that, dude.
took my lunch money.
So
all
Bryce and
weekend
I
bullied me.
Yeah, Vinny was heckling and doing some damage to Team USA. He brought it, and I will have to say he was playing really well.
Yeah.
Sunday a little bit of a different story, but still Friday, Saturday, absolutely had his A game.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to Team USA when our matchup because Max and Davis were playing really well. They were making shots where they needed to. We were definitely battling. Bryce and I, thank goodness, caught some fire because we needed it in a bad way. I was getting clapped by Max in our individual matchup. Bryce was handling Davis. That was not really too much of a worry at all.
No.
It was very lopsided. So the way it was shaking out was we had 3.5 points, and we're down at like hole 11 by down 2. It's not exact. I'm just kind of going off feel here. We're like down a couple, but the way it would work out with our individual matches is I wasn't going to beat Max. Bryce was winning and beating Davis, so that would have put us at 4 points now, basically, with how you guys were finishing, how our match was currently going. We really needed to beat them as like the team play because I was not going to beat Max the way I was playing. Bryce turned it on the back nine. He moved away from the driver. He said, screw that. I'm going to go for something more accurate. Brought the 3-wood, and my God, can this man pummel a 3-wood down
he was hammering
the middle, like 270, just arrows. And he hit a couple really great iron shots, was rolling the ball really well. I think he finished and came in with like a 42, I believe, which is pretty damn solid. Came down to the last hole. I'll paint a little bit of a picture here, but long par 4, water going down the left, hills on the right, water that goes all the way to the green, wraps around into the back, 2 big bunkers, or 3 actually, because there's one in the back on the green. So there's no room to miss.
Fairway, then green. That's
Basically,
what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be pretty darn straight. At this point, though, I'm chalked. I am depleted. I'm gassed.
Right.
I cannot hit a golf ball. I am in so much
3
pain.
days of golf and a swollen balloon knot. I can only imagine.
I am in so much pain. This thing,
throbbing.
It's got its own heartbeat. Like, dude, it's an appendage. It's an appendage at this point.
It's got its own feelings.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It is fucking killing me. I can't make a swing. And so I snap hook one into the water, dead. Max gets up there, puts one into the water off
Not
the
good
tee,
for us. We needed Max
which
there.
We're down one. And like
a push was a win for you guys.
a push, yes, a push is a win. So we need to win the last hole.
You need to push.
So we need to win the last hole in order to push our team play.
Correct.
Yeah. So that was huge when Max threw it in the water. Door was wide open. I mean, I'm not discrediting the Davis here, but like as far as the better player in the group, when you have 12 strokes that we're giving you, Max is going to be the one that's going to maybe win more of those holes.
For sure. And, you know, love Davis. Love you, Davis.
Yeah.
It's a 30 handicap.
Yeah.
Stepping up to an 18th hole with a really tight, with a game on the line, but Big Dick Dave steps up.
Actually, and like door was wide open because actually Davis did not hit a great tee shot. Dribbles it off the tee like 70, 80 yards.
Rough.
So he's got 380 into the in, or 350 in. That would make more sense. Hits a great shot, lays it up in the middle of the fairway, hits another iron shot right to the front of the green. I'm out. I'd have to drop, and I'm 240 out. I hit a 3 hybrid apparently over the green into the water.
I didn't even see it.
Rolls off the back. But now that's 2 balls in the water for your boy.
You're out of the hole.
I'm out. I'm out, basically. Max does really well, drops a ball, takes 3 wood. We're basically dropping in the same position.
Yeah.
Rips a 3 wood.
Hammers
just
it.
through the back in the right side of the green.
Yeah.
But is now in that back bunker, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's in the back grass. He's putting.
Okay, got it. Back
Hammers
grass.
one. I watched it come in. I was sitting on the hill.
Flushes this 3 wood,
Yeah.
dude. Comes back in the clutch. He's a clutch player and delivers a great strike, and it certainly puts him back into the hole. Should Bryce waver at all? Bryce had a great 3 wood right down the middle.
Classic.
And gosh, dude, hits an iron shot, and I'm blanking on where he left it. It was off the green, just to the right, kind of blocks it a little
I
bit.
think he put it in the water off the back. I don't really remember, but I know Davis is putting for double, and so is Bryce.
Okay, got it.
Or maybe he's playing for bogey, and they popped on 18.
They did. Bryce, I thought, hit a great shot, like maybe not to the front. Maybe it was the front right to like 35 feet. Rolls one up there to like, 3-4, taps in for his par. Davis is now laying 3 at the front of the green.
He tapped in for bogey, wouldn't he?
No, Davis bogeyed the hole.
He bogeyed the hole.
So Davis on the front of the green in 3, dude. Rolls a putt to like 10 feet. And he steps up there and drains this bogey putt.
Yeah, I'm in his backswing. Like, Davis, this really matters. Really concentrate, Davis. Get a read. He didn't listen to me at all.
Steps up there, hearts it. Right in the middle.
Loved it.
And we are going into overtime.
Second year in a row, overtime.
Second year in a row. We're going to address that for next year. But, my goodness, Dave, to come out and bogey
for a hard hole. For team
I don't
USA.
know if it was the hardest, but it was one of the 3 hardest holes on the golf course.
Maybe not in handicap, but for me personally, it was a very difficult hole.
A lot of pressure, very narrow. Got to be very exact with your shots. A lot of room for error. I put it in the water twice. I mean, there's lots of room for error. So, anyways, it was a huge hole for not only Team USA, but just I think Davis in general. I mean, he really stepped up. Hit some really solid golf shot, played smart, played really good bogey golf, knew what he needed to do, and he got it done.
That boy, Dave.
And he came through in the clutch.
That boy, Dave.
So now we're all tied up 4-4 here going in this last little bit. And instead of doing a
alternate
shot to finish, we wanted to do something that was a little bit more collective this year.
Right.
And at this point, we turned in our carts. We were figuring out what happened. We were trying to figure out points, this and that, matchups, and adding it all up. Turns out it was all tied up 4-4. And so coming into the day and into the tournament, we were talking about doing a tiebreaker putting green long putt competition.
Right, closest to pin.
Closest to pin.
The other person putts, the other person turns his back.
Yep.
no putts were made, but
I mean, we're 40-footers.
Yeah,
uphill,
Europe,
downhill,
Europe
big
putted
swingers.
great. The highest handicaps go first, even though
And
Dave,
then in descending order
right
from there on.
And then you and Chris were putting last.
Yeah.
Team, USA didn't have their best outing on that putting competition. I think we lost 3-1. So.
Yeah.
Team Europe brought it home. Congratulations to you boys on doing that, Andrew.
Thank goodness, because
hit
I
a
don't think
beautiful
I could have listened to you for another year.
Yeah, I know. I was really bummed, and I will take. If Team USA is hearing it, I've solely put that L on my back. I need to be better for the team there, and that's okay. We're a team. I brought other things and aspects for our team, but definitely Connor beat me. And Connor played great, and I needed that W. If I would have won that, we would have won the tournament, which should have been a win for us. But Connor played unreal. Putting competition was great. It wasn't even really that close. Max won one, and then everything else was pretty much.
I mean, it came down to the fact that Europe was up 2-1, but Chris hit a good putt. It was like 4 or 5 feet, dude.
Chris hit a really good putt, and you just dimed one to like 2.
It's like I almost rolled it in.
You almost rolled it in.
Inches.
So you, really just slammed the door shut. It was super cool to watch you win that, even though I was very, very angry. But yeah, it was overall a fun weekend. I just wanted to break down some other things, maybe for the future for it. What would you keep? 2 things you would keep, and 2 things you wanted to, change. I will bring that up for us for next year. The 2 things I want to keep were going to be, I love the afternoon tea times. And,
big time.
I also loved the individual team play with the match play best ball that we were doing.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was a chance for more points, more swings.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
I think I add another element to it. 2 things I would get rid of. We're definitely getting rid of overtime next year.
Yeah.
And it sounds like maybe we'll probably not do Shamble. Either we're going to do a 4-man team scramble or alternate shot all day. But those would be my 2 to get rid of. I mean, it's hard to say what you want to get rid of. But we're always looking to make it better,
Yeah. The only thing that we were touching on a little bit on the car ride back would be if it's white steak, it's white steak.
Yeah.
It's white steak.
So the new overtime rule is going to be in effect there. We play it as a hazard drop just to keep the game moving along.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, you usually have to re-tee when it's OB. Or there's a new thing called the local rule, which we'll be putting into force next year.
Yeah.
I think it'll help out the players who are lower handicaps, because the higher handicaps can blast balls OB all day and only have a 1-stroke penalty for it. And they're normally taking a lot more liberty on the distance than they should be.
And it also, for example, it punishes the more accurate golfer compared to the wild golfer. Meaning, if you take stroke and distance, you're only getting essentially a 1-stroke penalty. Even though you're blasting a ball out of bounds, you have to re-tee. You're not getting distance. You have to take a stroke penalty, which is essentially, in a sense, a 2-stroke penalty because you're losing all of that distance, right?
Right.
So that gives a little bit more of the players like yourself, Chris, a little bit more of a nod in that situation. So yeah, I think those are a couple things that we can change, adjust, revise a little bit, and kind of review and see where we kind of go from there.
Yeah.
I know we're approaching a little bit of that hour 20-ish mark here.
We're gonna roll through a couple of these things real fast.
But
MVPs for me this weekend. MVP for me all weekend. I'm gonna throw out a MVP and an honorable mention. MVP this weekend for me was Vincenzo, the big diesel. Really helped you guys out Friday and Saturday. Sunday was having a little bit of a fall off, but he was playing out of his mind all weekend.
Anytime you're going 2-1, it's big. That's big.
Yeah, especially he was the highest handicap on your team.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mention is going to be Connor. Connor went for rolling in putts all weekend. Kid picks up sticks once a year, and it's for the Ryder Cup, and he always comes in and plays pretty well.
And he somehow miraculously just balls out.
He
It's
just needs
crazy.
to play more golf, and he'd be awesome at it.
He would be so good.
And I would put Chris on this list, and I was
gonna say honorable mention, dude. Like where
I know Connor
I
went.
thought you were going
Chris
for honorable
went
mention.
3-0.
I was gonna say, if you could throw it back my way for an honorable mention, it would be Chris. I know you're gonna touch on that too, but keep going for it. Dude.
I mean, Chris 3-0, played unreal golf all week. Man is unreal, but unfortunately, he's so good at golf that he's like the LeBron James of our Ryder Cup. He kind of just takes a backseat for how talented and how great he plays. We just kind of assume that's what we're going to get from Chris.
Yeah.
But, I mean, truly played like basically below par golf Saturday, and Sunday just decided to turn it on after 4 or 5 holes of not playing that great, and just had a solid 10 holes from there that like it was like par, birdie, par. It was just like, what's going on here? Pete Dye course, I mean, he threw 195 over water.
I bet that was fun to watch.
It was 195 over water, 4-iron to like 3 feet.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like it was just like, wow, this man. So, Chris, it's, would be on my honorable mention, but he's just so good at golf, he can't be. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's
Chris
fair.
Chris just be worse at golf.
Dude, it was special to watch him play on Saturday. It left me flabbergasted. It was pretty crazy. Before you segue into another thing, I know we're like coming up a little bit late here, but do we want to touch on the fact of being present and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would love that. I think that's great for us. And
I know it's going to be a little bit of a longer segment, but that's
sure.
okay.
And we'll just, we'll finish it up on this. It's something important we want to talk about. It's why we call it In The Cabbage. Not everything in life is so, beautiful. Sometimes it's hard. And I was really struggling all week with being present where I was currently at. And it seems to be a problem with me in general. I don't know if it was the stress of starting this podcast or, working and just not, being present in my current spot. And it sucks because you look forward to something all months or all year.
I mean, we start planning this thing. If it's February, we start planning it in like August, essentially. We're starting to talk about it.
Yeah. And I get so, and I'll speak to myself here, I get so in my head about whatever, it could be about anything. It could be about, I'm playing awful golf and then my teammates hate me, even though nobody truly cares. They're just out there having fun.
Right.
Or like I'm really worried about dinner. I'm really worried about is the chicken undercooked or overcooked or not seasoned, like all these things that take me out of what I'm there for, which is to have fun.
It could be things that are going on there, or it could be something that's going on with the wifey. It could be something that's going on outside where it's work that you were just talking about. And it takes away from the moment, pulls you away from it.
And it's sad because, you get older, these moments of these things don't come around as often as you wish they would. And when you're not present mentally there, it takes a toll on you. It really did affect me. I was really sad. I mean, I had to give myself a pep talk. Like Saturday, I came back into the house after playing really poorly, and just beating myself up. I had to legitimately be like, okay, let's be a little nicer to myself here,
Yeah.
And
that's half
it takes me a moment to kind of come back to reality and try to realize, this tournament may never happen again, which more than likely it will. These friends may never be back together again. I need to try we might not play these courses. I need to really try to be present, and it's something I consistently try to work on. I'm always never where my feet are at, and it's just part about my life of being in the cabbage. I just don't seem to live in this moment. And that's what's great about you. For me, a lot of times I know you struggled with your own battle with that this weekend, dealing with a swollen half of a butthole.
Godly.
Really could take your mind off of what's going on. But I just want to talk about it because, it's not all, it's not all hero shots and easy greens for me.
Yeah.
A lot of time I'm really hacking through my own shit, which I know a lot of people are, and maybe they're not mentioning it to us or people aren't bringing it up. But, I think the older you get, it's more responsibility when having fun as well. It's not just so carefree and letting go. there's always responsibility that
Good
you have to
point.
come back to, or
Yeah.
that even us being there, like I'm cleaning up a lot, or, I'm not the only one, but we're making dinner. And these are things I enjoy. But when you're already like chocked mentally, these things now become like labored. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, like I'll clean up real quick. It's like I'm have to, or I'm, whatever, for whatever reason.
And it's something that you always seem to we talk about this all the time. It's something that we always want to be more present in the moment. And I feel like you've gotten better with it, and you realize that you're doing it. And even though it's sometimes it's tough to pull yourself out of it because of the way that you naturally want to think.
Right.
You do realize that, like, yeah, even though I'm cooking, cleaning, doing all the stuff, like I'm still doing it with like some of my college roommates, with some of my best friends, at the Ryder Cup, hanging at a cool house. It factors into all these small little things, and it helps you pull yourself out of it and helps you to appreciate those moments a little bit.
It doesn't take away from how much fun the tournament is, but it's so sad because you leave it, right? We're driving home after it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, did I
get all of it?
Did I get all of it?
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but I don't think I did.
It's just like it's bam, bam, and it's
quick.
gone,
And then now I'm home. I'm home Tuesday night. I'm laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I'm like, man, I'd pay any amount of money to go watch Vinny go hit another ball to 4 feet at Desert Islands on Saturday.
Yeah.
And in those moments, I'm, maybe I was pissed off because I wasn't playing well, or I was tired, or these things come and go so fast that it sucks when you're not mentally in it. And it's not that I didn't have fun. I had a blast.
It's more about just getting the most and relishing in that state.
Right, because you never know. Things change so rapidly now at this age as well, and financially, and who knows, everything could change at a drop of a hat. It just makes it, some things I've learned with it as well is you need to always do your best to take some deep breaths, realize where you're at, maybe talk to a friend to have him kind of, which is why I have my fucking traveling therapist with me, to
help you come to a little bit,
to check you back in,
Yeah.
to realize that I'm supposed to be having fun and my golf game isn't the reason of me having fun or not.
Yeah.
Even though, I would love to have gone out there and been playing great golf and not been stressed out with work stuff and, whatever, traveling and podcasting and all this beautiful stuff that's going on in my life, even though it's taking a lot of energy from me, does take away from some things. And I think, you were battling your own demons with this.
Yeah, I got a little taste of what you kind of go through. I mean, not necessarily just you. I mean, everyone. But we talk about it. It's more present. I know more about it because you bring it up when we talk about it a little bit more. For the most part, I do a pretty good job. I would say a really good job of being present. Maybe sometimes not present or like too present, not thinking about enough of the other things. I would say I'm a little bit more of that person. Like maybe I should rein it back in because it's 3 a.m. Maybe I should do this because I should think about doing, X, or doing a little bit more of a prep or packing or doing something along the lines. I kind of live very much true in the moment. But in this instance, on Sunday, it got to the point where, I was in a lot of pain. And by front nine was rough. I was able to battle through it a little bit. Certainly by hole 10 and 11, my God, it really turned around. And I was like, if I wasn't in a tournament, I would probably not be playing. I would just hit a couple shots, or I would just change a couple of things, what were going on with my swings, iron selections, club choices.
Yeah, and it took a concerted effort from what you told me to lock back in.
It took me a moment to. It was not even really a lock back in. I would say more of I really just need to stop complaining about how much I hurt and worrying about that so much, and okay, I'm just gonna play bad and it's fine, and I really just need to hang out here with Bryce and try to do my best to help him, one, but two, just to kind of make it better for everyone. Like, it's so me at that point. I was just like, I'm in so much pain. I can't get through this. Why am I out here? Like, I'm so uncomfortable. And everything inside of me is just telling me to get the fuck out of there, basically.
Right.
And,
get some ice.
Obviously couldn't. Like,
Right.
I'm in this thing, and it's a tournament, 3 long, it's a full commitment, and I'm there, it's a full encompassing group event. Like, I'm there to have fun with Davis and Max and Bryce, and obviously you guys as well, the group ahead. But primarily, I'm just talking about our group that's immediately that's being affected by my actions. So, yeah, it took me a hot second to kind of step back, look around, and I caught myself saying, damn, this is a sick course. What am I doing?
Right.
What is going on?
It's hard you have to take those moments, a couple deep breaths, and realize, like, life is pretty good. And I know, like, it's definitely hard when you're physically in a lot of pain, but mentally it's a little easier to try to lock back in on that, which is impressive and talks about how well you are and how good you are at that. I also was struggling with a lot of insecurity, I realized, which I think shocked me a lot. I was also, a lot of friends we have listen to this podcast, and I love it, and it's great. And they always tell us how much they like it, but I just personally just never truly believe that people actually like it. It's my own thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't ever, like, anything I do, there's no way people like. You know what I mean? That's just who I am as a person. If someone comes up and they compliment me, I just assume they're being nice. Like, they don't really feel that way. They're just trying to make conversation.
Right. You're like, oh, what's the underlying message there? Like,
I'm always like, you don't really mean
investigating
that.
Investigating.
I know how genuine our friends are and how much they all support us and the things we do. And that's not just with us, that's with everyone.
That's just your friend. That's your knee-jerk reaction.
My knee-jerk reaction is to understand that, like, I think that played into my not being present a lot because, I mean, Vinny was, like, we recorded, like, clips, right? And Vinny, as a joke, just tried one on the tee box, and my God, was he natural.
Yeah.
I mean, he just fell right into it. And we've only been doing this content creation probably maybe a couple weeks longer than Vinny, but I mean, my God, he fell right into it, and I got insecure. I'm like, there's no way I'm as good as Vinny at this, you know? And Vinny should be all-time on YouTube. He's so funny.
The man is a walking comedian.
Yeah, he's such a personality. It just, I think I just got so insecure and so in my head about, like, oh, they're just being nice. I don't really want to listen to the podcast, or people complimenting us and then saying other things behind our back. I always, think about, and I know that we have true friends with us that don't do that. But, I just thought we'd bring this up, because this is In The Cabbage. And even though it was extremely hard, not extremely hard, let me pull that back. Even though it was difficult to be in that thick shit, battling through it and having fun and still enjoying my friends' company and talking to you and being with new friends and making memories was so great that, like, I will keep being in The Cabbage as long as I know that I have people around me like that who can help me, figure out a shot. Yeah. But yeah, man, what an awesome weekend. We're gonna finish this up here with a quick featured match. Since it just was President's Weekend,
we got to wrap it up. With
and it's Washington Wednesday. We thought we'd do a little featured match. We got Abe Lincoln, the tallest man, and George Washington, Mr. Cherry Tree himself. So right off the top here, I'm going to go with a man with wooden teeth. If you have wooden teeth in your mouth, George Washington, there's no way.
The man had wooden teeth in his mouth?
Wooden teeth.
That's what your scouts are saying?
The scouts are out here talking about he has no teeth. And if you're willing to fight through life with no teeth, and they're basically wood pieces, you're getting splinters in your gums, I'm assuming. I don't think you're worried about where your ball's landing. First president of the United States, dealing with England, those soft little boys over there, back-to-back World War champs. You know what I mean? We're out here crossing the Delaware over an icy river, staying on the boat, looking all... The man's got, I'm sure, has got a swing on him. He fights through adversity. and has everything to win and nothing to lose.
Yeah, if you want to talk about a guy with some serious stature on him, though,
Yeah.
look no further than Abe Lincoln.
Talk about
that
all-time hat game.
that right there is a showstopper.
Yeah.
The media can't get enough of him.
Man, they won't shut up about him. He's a top draft pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Abe Lincoln went first overall, Washington went first overall, but
Right.
Abe's
People
the
be sleeping
showstopper.
on that, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, stature alone, tall. The hat game,
Can
ridiculous.
we talk about the beard as
the
well?
beard on point?
Yeah.
And he's coming out all power, and he's
He's got the length to do it, too.
And he hits that, and he walks like Rory. He's got that weird. He's got a weird long stride, and
Yeah.
Washington's over there gnawing on a cherry tree with his wooden teeth.
That man's straight digging in the trenches.
Yeah.
He is okay with being in the cabbage.
Oh, for sure.
In the shit over there.
Yeah, it's it would be a close match. Two very well respected presidents of our time. But I would have to give my nod to Abe Lincoln. I think the hat game and the stature alone on that man is going to be too intimidating for our wooden teeth beaver of a president, George Washington.
Wow, where do you got him going?
I would say Abe's probably winning on the 17th hole.
Wow, okay. Great. You're going Abe?
Going Abe.
I'm going OG. I can't go against the OG right here.
Going against wooden teeth man himself, Mr.
Yep.
Cherry Tree.
The myths and the stories do say that he cut down an apple tree at the age of 6.
I mean, I don't
No one
believe
can,
it.
No one can either confirm nor
He
deny.
probably whittled those down into some
He
teeth.
probably ate those things. Yeah.
Probably whittle those things down, some dentures for himself.
Yeah, and I got him going. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be tight, and I'm going with the guy that I think it's got a lot of grit to his game.
Yeah, love it.
And the guy that you can really fall back on. And I got the OG G-Dub, George Washington, taking it actually in the 18th.
Love it.
It's
Pushing to
easy.
the 18th. It's going to be a close match.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right, buddy. Well,
Good stuff, dude.
Follow our friends. They're going to be in the description of our podcast.
Big shout out again. I know John has been working really hard with us, with you, grinding, doing the edits, doing the cuts, doing the intros, outros, music, all of that jazz.
Video coming soon once I figure out how to work this thing.
Shout out John Lindahl. Can't thank you enough. Really wanted to shout out again Jake, Madison. You guys are really putting in extra work behind the scenes as well. Social media, giving us all the artwork, Jake. You're doing great.
Yep.
It's really fun. It's cool to see it all grow together. We got a lot of people backing us. And Tom, where can people find us?
It's going to be on all major platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. Our website's on Podbean. You just look up In The Cabbage. You'll sure to find us. We also have an Instagram and a Twitter. Your boys aren't hard to find. We're everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe. Like it, then unlike it, then like it again. Share with a friend. Hell of a podcast, buddy. Let's get out
Good
here
stuff,
and
dude.
catch this next couple episodes of the Swing documentary.
Yeah, I can't wait to really dive in a little bit more of that. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
What a hype series. We're going to bring that up in another future podcast to come.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
curbing
boys.
it for now. Let's just wrap this thing up, though.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're in the cabbage. And just a reminder, keep swinging.
In the cabbage.